God, I love that intro. What's up, G? How are you?
What's up? What's up? I'm like, this is episode 8.
Eight. We are close to double digits. We are close.
I had to think about that for a second. I'm like, it's been going by so fast.
I know it does. It's wild. This isn't anything. I can't believe a couple of days ago I was walking around SeaWorld actually, and I'm like, I was melting. Like the summer's here. It is so freaking hot. I don't know. Is it just crazy hot down there in South Florida by you?
Honestly, this morning is the first morning where I really felt like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I walk my dog at 6 a.m. So I'm like, the sun's not even up yet, and it was so hot.
Yeah, like walk outside and you just sweat. Like you just start sweating. It's good for fighters, right? You're kind of like always in the sauna. You're always losing that half pound, but it's wild.
It's good for fighters until after you're finished fighting. I'm like, I just finished sparring, and then I have a shower, and then I go to get in my car and I start sweating again. And I'm like, why did I even have a shower?
Yeah. Man, we'll kick the show off. This is your birthday weekend. Happy 27th birthday to you a couple of days ago. Hopefully everything is hopefully you had a great day. Hopefully you have a weekend plan. I hear a couple of birdies told me that you might be in the Orlando, Florida area this tomorrow or this weekend coming up. So we'll see. But you had a good birthday. Everything is great in Gillian Savage's world.
Yeah, so my birthday, I sparred some rounds and I did a little bit of drilling, and then I trained again at night, and that's about it for my birthday. But honestly, that's all I could ask for. I'm like, it was a good day. And the little birdie that you might have heard from, Hannah Goldie, I feel like it's so awesome. Her birthday is literally the day after mine.
Right.
So
right.
we're kind of like co-celebrating this weekend, and I'm going to head up to Orlando, stay out there a couple days, and just see where the flow, go with the flow, see what happens.
Dude, I'm crashing it. I'm just letting you know now. This is live on air. I think that we are recording. I'm literally crashing this party. Did you see her new Bronco?
Oh yeah, no, she told me about it the day that she was going to get it. I'm like, so awesome, so happy for her.
Gee whiz, man. I wish we can all just live it one day in Hannah Goldie's world. Gee whiz, that Bronco is fresh. I was going to say, so I saw on socials, Dean Thomas, you were like mopping the floor. You were mopping the mats, not the floor. Gee whiz. You were mopping the mats, like cleaning the mats up. And it was like your birthday night, and how he's just saying like everyone's pitching in and just like a little happy birthday. But like for you guys and like for me, so I had a really cool commentary gig, and it was tired, and that was in Biloxi, and I drove. The flights didn't make sense, so I drove, and I even drove back really fast. So it's just like a lot of moving parts. But like people don't understand if that's like not your love of your bliss. Like I want to do commentary for the UFC at Madison Square Garden one day. Like that's my ultimate goal, dream. So like what I did last weekend was amazing. Like I loved it. It was like, the best thing I can do professionally. So like I'm just in love with it. So like when like people don't understand that, like people would say that like, wow, gee, that's your birthday, but like, you loved it. That's what you love to do.
So much of me too. It's like, I know if I go and like I fuck off on my birthday, then it's like, all right, now the next day is, that's one day off training, then the next day is going to suck for training. So I'm not going to really get a lot out of it. And then we're already halfway through the week. And then the weekends, usually nobody's training, or like it's light work. You're not really getting the rounds you should. So it's like on the weekends, I don't mind taking like a little bit of time off like I am this weekend. I'm going to take one day off training. My Saturday sparring, I'm going to skip. But generally, like it's such an anxiety thing for me when I skip training. I'm like, I can't do it. It's just, there's so much of me that I feel guilty if I don't. And it's almost to the point where it's a problem for me, where I'm like, I train through injuries, I train through sickness, whatever, because I'm like, no, I can't miss training. But it's also why I've made it to the level I have today.
And it's the reason why the nickname sticks. You know what I mean? Sometimes, I know like guys try to nickname themselves Gator or something like that. It just doesn't work. Your nickname sticks. So, but yeah, hopefully you have a good weekend. Like I said, I don't know. If I see you, I see you. Who knows? But it should be fun. You guys in Orlando will have fun. So happy for Hannah, and happy birthday to you. All right. So somebody like a couple different fun things I want to take it. And I don't know, like I want to see how interested you are. One of them, like one of the big things that happened I know you don't watch like a lot of TV or listen to a lot of shit, but like, do you know that the government is doing like their first ever like UFO hearing? Like, have you heard about this or seen any of this?
No, I kind of live in a closet of MMA, so I have not seen any of it.
We're going there. We're about to talk Juliana Miller on Tough 30 and Holly Holm coming up in the main event. I'll promise I will go there in a second. But I'm so intrigued that like the government is doing this all out. Like they want, information to be known. And they're trying to figure out to see if there's legitimate like UFOs. And I don't know if you see any like videos or on Instagram once in a while, they pop up like those little, they see a UFO in the sky at night. Yeah. So like, are you like an alien person or a UFO person? Are you into that, or like you don't give a fuck? Like what's your kind of take on that?
I guess I'm not really into it. Like I'm not huge on like looking into it, and I don't know, the conspiracy theories and everything like that. I don't know, but I do believe that there might be something out there. Like there's too much out there for there not to be something. Right.
Right. And by the way, this is Red Bull and Grey Goose. So there you go. I got to get through the day. It's
completely understandable.
But yeah, I guess. And it's like all these like government guys are talking about it. So like sometimes I'm like seeing highlights and other shows and other podcasts are like almost making fun of them. Like it's that bad of like what they say it could be. Like literally one guy is saying like they think it's a legitimate like Tic Tac. They're like, hey, it's just, someone's recording a screen and they're moving a Tic Tac across and they like CGI people's fingers. I'm like, it's crazy. Some of these things are so funny. I don't know. It's intriguing to me that, the government is talking about, like they're having hearings, like they want the information out for the first time because it seems like they've kept so many things secret,
It's like, whether it is CGI or not, I feel like is such a hard thing to tell nowadays. I'm like, people are so good at photoshopping shit. It's like, you can't look at something and be like, oh, that's totally fake or that's totally real. I'm like, you don't know anymore.
Yeah. Some of the dope, like in like the MMA videos, like kind of like a cold opens at UFC and how like they put highlights together. And how many different things have you seen of Chandler kicking Tony Ferguson's face? And there's like so many different things that happen to it. Like there's one that has like Tony Ferguson singing. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Goodness. It's just crazy. Like you said, it's all CGI, but if someone not in our MMA space came and saw it for the first time, like they might believe that happened because it looks like he's singing. Like, so, it is what it is. It's crazy times. But training's going good. Everything is going good in the fight life of Gillian.
In the fight life of Gillian, things have definitely been stressful lately. Just like, like moving gyms, starting just in a new area in general. Just moving in general, I feel like is a big thing. And then just a change of scenery. So it's like, honestly, everything is going ideal. Everything is going perfect. Like training has been going great. But it's just, in general, it's been a lot on me.
And, like, I kind of thought about this, and I didn't mention this to you off air, or, like, we haven't had this talk yet. So, like, of course, we always joke about how the American Top Team thing was so long ago, right? But, like, so it's a humongous gym, and all these different girls are there. And then kind of, like, in a weird not a weird way, but in a way, what you did was like you kind of got you got homeschooled in a way, like you with Dean Thomas and a lot of just Dean and you, and then David Evans, and then Jose Shorty Torres. A lot of really small, intimate work was done, and now you kind of transition back into a bigger gym, and maybe it's not as big, of course, as American Top Team, but it just seems the gym is loud and fun and moving parts and pieces, and their socials are just like on fire. Like a lot of things are brewing. Like it's just a transition of it. Are you kind of feeling back like, hey, okay, I'm in a gym with multiple bodies and multiple sessions and just a lot of shit going on? Or is it like, okay, I'm like, do you feel 100% comfortable in that scenario yet?
I want to say yes.
Okay,
I feel like physically and mentally I feel okay, but that being said, I feel like emotionally I've been like walking on eggshells for almost a month now. I feel like so I definitely am stressed. I'm definitely pushed to the limit with just everything changing. Like you said, a higher work schedule now. Like Asim, who's the head coach of the Goat Shed, the gym that I'm now training at, he's very good with like you said, it is a little bit of a bigger gym, but he does private classes with us multiple times a day. So it's
no,
like
okay.
I'm doing privates with him at least I'd say at least 2 times a day, and then doing like maybe one group class and then one live class. So it's still getting a lot of that private individual work that I got when I was with Dean. I'm still working with Dean. I go up to West Palm and I work with him. So it's still a lot of that private individual work, but just also integrating those hard rounds where I was kind of lacking when I was just like solely with Dean and didn't really have like as many bodies, as many options. At Goat Shed, we have at least, I want to say, I can think of 4 right now, but there's probably like 5, 6 pro 125-pound guys. Who are just like, they're on the cusp of being in the UFC, and they're just ideal partners for me. So it's just, I've been getting a great push. Obviously, them being boys, they're bigger, stronger, and able to produce more of a scramble. So it's like I got to stay that extra step ahead of them mentally so I can win my rounds. So it's really, it's just bringing out, I feel like all the work that Dean and I had put in these last couple years, now it's like I'm putting all that shit together in the cage, and it's like I really feel myself as a complete fighter right now.
That's crazy. That's awesome. That's scary for the UFC flyweight division. So on those privates, are most of those privates like jits and grappling privates still?
Everything. So like this morning we did an hour wrestling private, then an hour striking private right after. And then like yesterday I did 2 jiu-jitsu privates back to back. So it depends whatever it is. Like every day we're working something different.
So you know, like at Fight Bananas, we love to do a lot of betting stuff. So on your next fight, you gotta whisper to, you gotta send me the DM text and be like, hey Dave, watch first round head kick knockout. I'm gonna Holly Holm a bitch coming up. I'm telling you. Just let me know when that's coming, all right?
Shit, it might happen.
Oh my gosh. Talking about that, that's called a transition in the business. Man, Holly Holm's in the main event this weekend. Ketlin Vieira, really important fight because so I've had this conversation now because I'm such on the opposite side of it and I don't get the other side. So I'm like, am I off base on this? I hear, because we do so much socials for Fight Bananas on our Facebook and Instagram page and stuff. And like anytime we post anything of Holly Holm, so many people like throw in how she's like this 1 year, like this one fight wonder and one trick pony. And like they always call her the Buster Douglas of MMA, Buster Douglas is the one that defeated Mike Tyson. Are you like, dude, Holly Holm's won 3 out of 4. Like Holly Holm's defeated a lot of really great girls. She's just lost to Valentina and Amanda and Misha Tate, like some like all-timers. What side of the fence are you on the Holly Holm side?
I can guess. I feel like an argument to the point of where like that she does only have that one knockout is that's her only like big moment that I can think of in the sport. You know? Like a lot of her wins are just like safe decisions.
Sure.
So it's not necessarily exciting fights to watch. I feel like a lot of time, like just in her more recent, I feel like.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like the 3 out of the last 4, like her wins have been decisions, and one of them was a main event. I remember it was 25 minutes, and to be honest, it wasn't an exciting fight. She kind of like did what she needed to do, especially she's so long and rangy. Like she kind of kept her opponent on the outside, leg kick, jabbed away, and got a win that way. And sometimes, like I don't know if we ever mentioned this too. I'm telling you, if I'm gonna like blow your mind if you never noticed this, and then you will like you can never watch Holly Holm the same. When she gets into the octagon, she never stops moving. She like never ever stops. Like when Bruce Buffer does her like announcement or whatever, she like runs from like side to side. She like so freaking fast. I'm like, Holly, just stand still for a second. Like I'm telling you, like it'll blow your mind if you like watch her now coming up on Saturday night. Like she never puts her feet in the ground and never moves. I don't know if it's like this crazy nervous energy or a tick or something. It's wild, really wild.
I feel like every fighter handles, like you said, like nervous energy. Every fighter handles it differently too. Because like I feel like some fighters you can look at them and be like, oh, they look nervous. But no, that's just like their coping mechanism in a way. Where I'm like, if I see a fighter who walks out and they're sitting there, they're screaming and trying to make a lot of noise, usually I'm like, oh, they look nervous.
Yeah.
I feel like the guy who's trying to act big and trying to act like he's something big, then like they're the ones who are nervous. And that very well might be a coping mechanism for her, is that movement constant. Like for me, honestly, I feel like anxiety is my biggest like arch enemy walking in the cage. So movement and then breathing are two things that I feel like have helped me a lot. But in like if I'm in the back locker room and I start feeling like a little bit anxious, feeling my heartbeat and like just I don't know, not feeling right, I'll just start shadow boxing and start moving around because the way my sports psychologist explained it to me is that my heart is already moving at like 100 miles a minute, and the fact that my body is just sitting there doing nothing, it's almost like confusing to my body. So it makes me nauseous. So I'm like, whenever I get up and I start moving, then my body's like, oh, there's a reason your heart's beating this fast, and it kind of like helps neutralize everything.
Dude, that blew my mind. That's like the wisdom of the week right there. Like that's a video. I just I time marked it, so when I watch back, I'm like, oh yeah, Dave, that's their wisdom. That's pretty cool. So are you the sports psychologist? Are you seeing them like weekly or monthly or just kind of every now and then?
It's as needed, really. More, I would say like bi-weekly or even tri-weekly outside of camp. You know, it's like if I don't have a fight coming up, it's not as necessary.
Right.
But if I do have a fight coming up, I might see him once a week or maybe twice a week, even if it's getting close to the fight, depending on what's going on, where I feel. Sometimes we'll be like, I'll be like 2 weeks out and we'll have a conversation. He'll be like, oh, you seem like you're in a good spot mentally. So we'll just leave it at like, we'll leave it here for right now and then see where you land with the fight. And then like a week later, I'll text him and be like, I need to talk to you.
Yeah. Is it video or in person?
Oh yeah, we do like Zoom chats.
That's crazy. That's cool. I don't know. Like I would love to talk to a sports psychologist because like it's amazing like you said, just the information that you would get into and just kind of, now doing a lot more commentary on it and talking about it, just like knowing inside that I love talking with, pro fighters all the time and just kind of getting inside information. So it was wild because this past weekend when we did the boxing event over there in Biloxi, like it was like, remember when you and I did the Island Fights thing? That's what we did. Like we did interviews with every, like the top 6 or 8. So it was awesome. And like sitting down with Alan Belcher or sitting down with Frank Gore, like Frank Gore is, literally NFL Hall of Famer going to be, and like multi-millionaire, like doesn't need to do this. And it's like, kind of like that was my thing. Like, Frank, like, why are you boxing? Like, why are you doing this? And, he just said like it's just something like he's loved his whole life and his whole career. And of course, when he was playing football, he couldn't box, and that's just part of like he couldn't do both. And the NFL, his teams didn't want him to box, which is very understandable. But like now he doesn't play football anymore, and like he's always loved professional boxing and have always wanted to do it. And I think he's like literally 40 years old now or 39 years old, and now he says he can. And dude, he looks so good, G. Like he looked awesome. And that, like I know that knockout went like viral, like logistic, serious viral. But that was literally the last 10 seconds of the 4th round. The whole fight, he looked good, like just like footwork and jabs, like not like, amateur good and throwing haymakers. Like he legitimately looked like a boxer. I was blown away. We were both blown away by it.
That's awesome to see. And it's like you said, at 40 years old, kind of like chasing a dream in a way, like going after it. I mean, that's what I find more like being 27 now,
Oh, I do got a question about the 27 thing, but okay, let me go there.
I'm like, just like when you reach an age, you're like, oh, like I have to be reaching these goals. I have to be doing this. I have to be doing this. And he's 40, taking a completely different career path in what he's done and looking good at it. Like you said, like he's really out there and performing. And it's like, I think that's awesome to see.
It was amazing. It really was. All right. It's so funny. Me, my permanent black marker, I got some things down. And one of the things I wrote was, so now turning 27 a couple days ago. And, our friend Hannah, I think she is, I think it's 30 now. And I'm a little bit past that 30 mark. And like 30 just seems like it's a big number, a round number. And you get out of your 20s. What are 3 things, if I can say, gee, these are, you can have like an item or a place like you're like, hey, I'm definitely going to go visit this place via fight-in or just a vacation or whatever, or a success. Like, hey, Dave, I want another win or I want a record or champ, whatever you want. By the age of 30, what are 3 things that Gillian the Savage Robertson is going to obtain or go to or feel? What are 3 things that are definitely will happen in your life?
I definitely see myself having a belt by 30.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good time progression, good timeline for me. I feel like I don't think that's too far of a reach, to say by 30 I'll have a belt. And for places I want to go everywhere. And like travel is such a huge thing for I feel like it never was like when I first started with the UFC, they sent me all around the world and I just hated it. Like I was like
A lot of people.
I just wanted to be home. I didn't want to see anything. I didn't want to do anything. I'm like, I just want to go home. I'm done with this. I'm like, I went to Liverpool, Prague, Sao Paulo, like everywhere for my first couple fights. And I was just like in there for 5 weeks and then back home. But I don't know, this last year, I want to say it was, I've really taken a liking to traveling and just exploring. So it's like any place I go, I'm looking for like national parks or like nature trails or something like that to just go look around. And so there's hopefully going to be a lot of travel before 30. I usually try to schedule it around like MMA fights or jiu-jitsu events. So like a jiu-jitsu event, they'll be like, hey, do you want to come compete in Oregon? I've went out there a lot for Chael Sonnen's show. And I'm like, Oregon is absolutely amazing anywhere you go. Like, just the mountains, the lakes, the ocean, like, everything is just, like, stunning. So I'm like, any opportunity that I've had to, like, go grapple, do anything, anywhere that I've had a chance to go, I've loved to explore a lot. So I'm like, travel's been a big thing, definitely.
All right, so belt is 1, travel is 2. How about a third? Last one on the list before 30.
Is there anything to want besides that? I'm like, for me, like so many like materialistic things don't matter really. It's not I feel like it's so like corny to say, but the most valuable thing is time. So it's however I spend my time until 30 is going to be more valuable than anything else to me. So as long as I'm having fun and I'm happy and I'm loving life by that age, that's all I need.
Yeah, there you go. So like the third thing, happiness, like you said, just like life in general is usually just so hard, and they just how we live now, it's almost like it's so you're supposed to work Monday through Friday 9 to 5, and you're supposed to get a paycheck, and you're supposed to then pay your bills, and then on Friday night you go out one night because you have $80 extra, whatever it is. Like that's just how like 80% of America lives. And it's like they try to put you in this box or tunnel, and it's like there's so much great stuff outside that tunnel, like outside that box. Like that's what I'll tell anyone. Like everyone always says sometimes to me, like it was the coolest thing, G. Like there was this little girl who his father went up to me after the Game Bred boxing event and was like, hey, my daughter like wants to meet you, like she's a huge fan of you. I was like, all right, that's it. Like that was like my one, like everything I did. It was like I said, I drove to Biloxi. It was hard. It was like it was just a long trip. I was very tired by the end of it, and I knew I had to drive home pretty soon afterwards. But like just that little 1 minute interaction was like everything. I was like, dude, that was awesome. Like that made me so happy. That's like I'm doing shit outside the box, like outside that 9 to 5, and it's like okay, like it's starting to pay dividends. Like that's cool shit. I like it.
And it's just like you said, like with that little girl, it's showing her that something like that is possible. There's something like you can just chase your dreams. You don't have to become a waitress, become a bartender, just like fall into the regular 9 to 5 or regular like office job or whatever it is. And like I feel like so many people, it's like the biggest excitement of their life is going to the bar on the weekend. Yeah. And I'm like, why not like just get out of that box, go do something, go explore. I'm like, even I lived in Port St. Lucie, Florida since I was 7 years old till I was like, I left there for a couple years, but pretty much till I was 27. I'm like a good 20 years there. And not until recently, I never really explored it. I'm like, it's just my hometown where I grew up. And the more I explored there, the more cool shit I found around there. Sure. I'm like, it's just, I never left my house really before that, or never left my box. I would just go from my house to the gym and that's it. And then like, I noticed how much cool shit was just around me.
Crazy. God, this show, that's when you know when it's getting good. It's when we're 25 minutes into it. And like, I usually want to keep it around 30s, like my cap time. And like, I feel like we just flew by, like literally nothing. Fight Banez just made a post, and every UFC male champion, I think the females are really close to it, but we did the males. Every single champion's 30. There was the youngest. There was one 30-year-old, and then 32, 34. Glover's about to be 42. all these UFC champions, like everyone, I remember like years and years ago, like 27 was the prime age and 25 and younger and all this stuff. Now you can see to be world champion in the UFC at the highest level, you always say this whole Charles Oliveira, this could be the mirror of your, professional MMA career. Like this 30 and 32 and 34, these really special numbers to be the complete mixed martial artist, maybe physically and mentally and going through wealth of knowledge of a loss or a training camp or a good camp or a bad camp or a good partner, not a good partner, a good coach, bad coach, whatever the case may be is. And it just blew my mind because you always felt the younger fighter had a better, odds to win and they didn't have injuries to them. But you just see these guys and Volkanovski's and Usman's 34. And all these champions are in the mid 30s. And it just kind of blew my mind. And I did, of course, when we make posts, we have a nugget of Gillian the Savage Robertson in almost everything we do here at Fight As. What do you think of that, of all these champions being over 30 years old and literally 34s and Glover 40 and all this stuff, like legitimate age champions?
I think it is it does play out for the women in the same way. I know Amanda and Valentina are both over 30. And I'm assuming Carla is just because she's fought for so long.
True.
I
don't know Juliana. Let me look her up when you're talking. I'm going to topology. I'm going to.
Yeah, I was about to say she's the only one that I'd assume that she's close to 30 still. But I'm like that. I don't really feel like you reach your athletic prime until then. Like there's a different type of strength that you can acquire.
32. Juliana Pena.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, all the women's champs are over 30 as well then. So I'm like, it's, I just feel like all the knowledge you can acquire, you do have a little bit of a different physical strength. I feel like they always talk about like mom strength or dad strength. I'm like, it's definitely a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing for sure.
100%. I grapple with someone who's a mom. Like you can feel it from the beginning.
Just like dumb shit. I know it sounds so stupid. Just like little stuff, like when one of our girls aren't listening, they're like run the way, like down the sidewalk going in the street. Like your next 4 steps in my grab is not my normal 4 steps in grab. It's like you turn into a superhero because you don't want your girl to run into the road. So it's just like shit is crazy. And talking about it, and then jokingly I said it. Before you came on the air, to me, you look very, very, you look great physically. Like you look really, really in great shape. And it's like, hey, Jillian's now another year older. Like it seems like, when you're 30, you will be a different specimen of a person to what you are today. Maybe even another hip. Who knows?
Definitely need another hip. Need another new everything right now. I feel like that's a big adjustment for me too. It's like training so much more, dealing with, I feel like I'm injured everywhere right now, literally everything. So I'm like, definitely body, if my body holds up, I feel like I'm going to be a different fighter by 30. I'm a different fighter than I was, like, if you look at 22-year-old Gillian walking into the UFC versus me now, it's like 2 different people, 100%. Like, just the way I fight, my style, everything about me is just completely different.
Yeah. And you can see like even the division, there's so much youth coming into the division, kind of getting put in there. And it's kind of funny because I felt like 6 months ago, a lot of people and MMA media were so high, and just, throw out a couple of names of Miranda and Casey and Barber and stuff of that nature. And it's kind of funny to see, not funny, but kind of just to see them, maybe not going through the division as quickly as maybe others thought. And like you said, maybe in a way they're too young. Like maybe in 4 years from now, those 3 girls in general and Aaron, like these girls will be, you would assume just better fighters and different fighters. They are still leveling up and changing and developing skills of that nature. So it's wild. It's crazy. And that flyweight championship's on the line. What, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, that pay-per-view, I'm so intrigued. Like, there's a part of me that's rooting for Santos because just to like shake up the division and seeing what would be next for Valentina. But like, I don't want to say, I just don't see it happen. I just do not see it happening.
I don't see it happening, but all of me is rooting for Santos. I would love to see her win. Like you said, 1, it shakes up the division.
Yeah.
2, I'm like, she left me with a nice little scar across my nose. So I'm like, I'd love to see some good things happen for her. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I feel like right now, if anybody is close to Valentina, it is Tyler.
Ooh, so you think she's the number, like, not even number one? That's the wrong statement. Do you think she's in the flyweight division her toughest test right now in the summer of 2022?
Currently, yes. I feel like she's probably the toughest girl in like top 15. But like I said, that being said, Valentina, honestly, like speaking on all woman champions, Amanda, Juliana, Carla, or it was just Rose too. I'm like, nobody makes fewer mistakes than Valentina.
I know.
She's just so perfect in everything that she does. So it's like she's gonna be a challenge for anyone to beat her, no matter what.
5 years from now, will you ever walk down the your aisle of marriage holding a UFC championship belt like Carla Esparza?
I don't know if I'll do that, and especially after a fight like that.
Yeah, like, I don't know why, and like, you know how much I love the sport and cover the sport and trying to make my living and provide for my family through mixed martial arts and everything of that nature. But like, there was something about it that it's like, I know that's going to come out so wrong. It was like cheesy. Like,
I was just about to say corny. So we're on the same page.
Okay, there you go. Just like Carla, like, you can like have one picture of it afterwards, but like legitimately you walking down the aisle, like that is my wife told me like that was her like dream moment when since a baby girl and growing up, like I don't know, it's just something about that moment that you can never take back, not wearing the championship. And especially, like it was won not in like the most brilliant fashion either. It has a little tint to it, just a little.
Like, I wouldn't even be proud of that belt at that point. I'd be like, all right, like I won it, but did I? Like that was literally when the whole MMA media saying you had the most boring fight in title fight history. Are you really gonna like rep? It's like when Aljo repped his belt after getting kneed in the head. I'm it's just things you just like you don't do.
And like sometimes like he was doing it like almost jokingly and like even sarcastically, like he started to play that role in a way. Like this is like you're supposed to be like one of your highlighted moments of your life, like, and you're wearing the belt. It was just like, I don't know, like I'll pass on that one next time.
Whenever Justin Gaethje he won the interim title belt. As soon as Dana White put it on his waist and Gaethje took it off and put it on the octagon floor, and I'm like, there's no moment I've respected more in MMA. I'm like, he's saying like this isn't the real belt, it doesn't mean anything, and I'm like, that's almost how I feel like I would be if I was in either one of those fighters' positions. I'd be like, I don't deserve this shit. Like I get I'm the champion, but like, am I?
Does Gaethje ever fight for the championship ever again after losing to Charles now?
That's a tough, honestly, like. Especially losing, like, I don't know, losing so fast like that. Charles just showed how dominant he really is in that fight. And I don't, like, that's 2 title shots that Gaethje's had now that have been, like, close to each other. So if he does get it, I don't see it happening. Maybe until, like, Charles is dethroned or something like that.
Sure. And I had, like, I had a debate with someone, and it blew their mind. I just, like, threw out a stat. And, dude, I love Justin Gaethje. Like everyone loves Justin Gaethje, and he's always everyone's fan favorite. Everyone loves Justin Gaethje. It's not a diss at all. Justin Gaethje, just throwing it out there, just throwing facts. He's 6-4 as a UFC fighter. Like, yeah, like it's weird. Like he's always like maybe one fight away, and his name is so big, and he's so fun to watch. So it's like big, but sooner or later, it's what's up?
Literally, you're sitting right in front of the camera.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I'm like, I didn't know that about Gaethje at all. One thing, I'm like, that's absolutely shocking that he is only 6-4 as a UFC fighter. But like you said, being a fan favorite, that's such a big thing for him because I think he has more bonuses than he has wins. I want to say he has at least like 8 or 9 UFC bonuses. So he's gotten that 50 grand on a lot of those losses too. So it's like, just him being such an entertaining fighter, like that's also what I feel like keeps him so high up there.
Right. Even the fight against Charles, like that fight was amazing. Like that fight was also, it was like, I can argue the best 2 minutes in MMA the whole year. And, he lost to right now the most dominant lightweight champion in a long time. He's just such a stud. Like, I just love that performance. I had a whole podcast about it. Like that was just the psyche of missing weight, losing your championship on the scale, like you can argue him losing to Gaethje that night was more of a guarantee that he would fight Gaethje right away. Like, oh wow, like they're gonna do a rematch for the championship. Just so much there, and like he just like walked right through him, like insane, like oh, chills.
I want to say we might have even talked about this on the last podcast, but the way he pulled guard is like,
yeah.
I'm like, I fucking fell in love with everything about Oliveira in that moment. The fact that he pulled guard, and not only that, but Justin Gaethje was like, nah, I don't want anything to do with that.
Like, and I think that's like not a weakness, but like, dude, when you get Gaethje, when you knock down Gaethje, like he can't be 100%. So you hit him so hard, he falls down to the mat. He's 50-50. Like for at least a couple seconds, you can go further on that if you want to. But for those 3, 5, 7 seconds, he's 50-50. I think it's a mistake that some of these fighters like Gaethje doesn't just go for it. Like, hey, I'm going on top. I'm going to throw these heavy shots, and hopefully it's enough. Hopefully the ref stops me. Hopefully I get one more shot in, and it's kind of over. Like, sooner or later, like these guys have to go for it. Like Chandler needs to go for it. Poirier needs to go for it, because when you do get those knockdowns and you kind of let Oliveira get back in, it's like he almost gets into this zombie mode of like, hey, you knocked me down once or twice. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like my body's over me getting knocked down. I'm just going to go right through you now.
I feel like I haven't watched enough of Chandler to think this about him, but with Gaethje and Poirier, definitely I've seen this a lot. And it's just the fact that they're not competent enough in their jiu-jitsu game and Oliveira is such a fucking threat. Like he's going to put you away from his guard. He's going to put you away on the bottom. So if these, like, I remember when I was in the Tough House, Justin Gaethje would always be like, I don't train jiu-jitsu. I just wrestle and strike. Like he wrestles since he was 4 years old. So he's just like, yeah, I get taken down and get back up. That's it. So it's like, I feel like Poirier isn't necessarily the greatest grappler either. He's more of a striker, boxer, like looks good on his feet. So I'm like, it's just, I feel like it's such a threat, such a fear that going into his guard, like Charles is going to do damage or he's going to put you away. He's going to get the sub. Like he's just too crafty from everywhere. He has too many options to put you away.
Yeah. Crazy. Gee, we did it. 38 minutes. This is like, I think our longest one ever. Yeah, it was a good one. 8th episode of Mic Cuddles, 2 away from episode 10. I talked to you off air about next week. I as soon as we end, I'll talk to you. I think that's it. Yeah. Happy birthday, G. 27 years old a couple of days ago. Have a great weekend in Orlando, Florida with our dear friend Hannah Goldie. Happy birthday to Hannah as well. Any last words from you?
No, not that I can think of. I'm like, it's still just crazy to me. 1, that we have even talked for this long, and 2, that it's episode 8. I'm like, the fact that we've got this many done and it's just gone this smooth has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been good. It's going good. I can't wait. I don't know. I don't even want to like whisper the fun rumor stuff they like keep on talking to us about, because they just like keep on sending emails and just keeps on going back and forth. Hopefully we'll get there. We'll see. Yeah, that's it. I can't wait. Mic Cuddles number 8 officially in the books. Gillian the Savage Robertson. Last question. How high did you get on your birthday? Did you just get absolutely blitzed at 9 or 10 o'clock at night?
We're saving that for this weekend. I'm hoping to we're definitely going to go out one night, and I'm hoping to make a day at the Springs too, and just kind of chill and relax all day. So that'll be that day.
There you go, guys. All right. Happy birthday weekend, Gillian. We'll talk to you soon. Later.